Hello everyone, it's Michael Cilio and Captain Future in the late night. Today has been a very long day. We went up 5 a.m. this morning. But I couldn't resist doing a reflection. This has been the first day of a very different week. Usually this time of year we go to Visby in Gotland in the Baltic Sea for a big democracy festival called Almedalen. And some of you have been there, my friends, and some of you have probably seen or heard about it by this time as a friend of mine or some of my our common mutual friends. But this year it's cancelled like all other events. It's like you see, it's a crazy year and a crazy summer. But instead, some major actors decided to do the online Zoom variant or broadcasting variant or stuff like that of this Almedalen, and we have seen like 9 major events this starting today. Most of them in Swedish, but some of like our event is many parts in Swedish, but also many parts in English as well. So hello Linus, great being with you today. So this we call our event Commons Valley, Almenadalen, instead of Almedalen. That means exactly that, Commons Valley. So it's a democracy festival online, but it's a traditional like live stream panel. We're gonna have some interactive workshop, and tomorrow I'm gonna start doing StreamYard interviews, and then it will be possible for you to join in online as well. And from tomorrow evening as well, not tonight, I will be doing this in StreamYard instead, so I will have guests every night, maybe 1, 2 or 3 hours every night this week, so you will be welcome to join in for the rest of the week. But tonight I'm just too tired to organize something like that. But tomorrow I will invite you to join in StreamYard to discuss events and things like this. But the event today we went to the ferry that goes between Denmark and Sweden, Helsingborg and Helsingør. So we ride it back and forth the whole day on the top floor in a small conference room. We set up a really big video and radio studio with lots of guests coming into the actual ferry, but also some guests participating digitally. And the internet was so-so, some of the internet was so-so on board, so we switched between different Wi-Fi's, and there was a lot of trouble with that, so that didn't work out so great. But tomorrow we'll be on the mainland with good internet, so that will be much better. So let's make something different tomorrow then. But some of the main questions I was invited in one panel and jumped into another one. One panel was about the future of Almedalen and the future of democracy, and one panel I was in today, we talked about the future of science and blind spots, and there was other panels about what goes on under the surface, like a marine biologist and Coast Guard serviceman talking about that, and there was other region villages as one session. We had a yoga session, and we had a session about sustainable future and the SDGs and stuff like that. So a lot of mixing interaction things. So that's really interesting. So the future of democracy. So the main point is that there's many experiments all over the world that many countries or regions or people call democracy or not democracy. But the thing is, we don't know how to govern our country and our earth in the future, or our cities. We have to continue doing democracy experiments and prototypes. But the important thing is that we treat them like experiments and prototypes and recognize that they are not perfect in any way. They all need to evolve. And foremost, we all need to learn from each other's mistakes and winnings in playing democracy together. So that's how we do it. We learn from each other, and we start prototyping and experiment further with our countries, and we start treating our current systems as just that, prototypes, because they're not finished. And with that mindset, maybe we can get somewhere. It's going to be really, really hard, but that's something I can work towards. Also, in that, I need to get some water. So in that, we need to play democracy together in various forms and start doing this on a global scale and elevate this conversation, and have, of course, next year we'll probably have a physical event, maybe, we don't know yet, but if we will have a physical democracy festival here in Sweden. They have one in Denmark and Norway as well, so let's see next year. But for this year we're going to continue to do this digitally and see what we can do. The main part of this festival, Almedalen, is to get together and meet people. For me, the mingles, the events, and just talk to everyone, talks to hundreds of people each day on different subjects about democracy and future and innovation and the SDGs and everything. So let's see what we can do around that, but I'll invite you tomorrow to join my StreamYard sessions and actually have a digital conversation about any topic you feel like you want to contribute to. So that's my thoughts for that today. I'm also wearing my capability cape, möjlighetsmantel in Swedish. This is something Stellan and his crew came up with, and I had these capes for the last 2 years when I went to Almedalen, and this year they had a friend of them sew up capes for everyone. So we all got our different capes in different colors, so you can see some pictures on my Facebook for that. Really cool. And it like just doing things like this, I have been experiencing myself with this for many years, wearing my Captain Future coat or cape. You have seen the black one. I've been wearing that for 4 years, I think now, 4 or 5 years. So if you see the picture of that, that's how I experiment. But I have also experimented with lots of different T-shirts over the years. Now today I'm wearing "Get Ready to Redesign the World." That's from Evolutionary Institute in Oakland with Fjodor and his crew who wears that. And exploring with identity. But we went to a restaurant to celebrate afterwards and had by the sea, and the Major G, he got curious about what it was, and Stellan ran to his car and got a cape for him as well, and he put it on, and suddenly he transformed. A simple trick like this can like transform people for the better, hopefully most of the time. Just calling it a possibility or capability cloak made him shine up like a light and do things differently. And when a customer asks for something that wasn't on the menu, he says, "Of course I can do that because I have a capability cape on me." Things like that. And this is the small things and the small hacks we can do together, making differences of stuff like that. So also a lot of the focus and thoughts to me today has been how do we play society together and do a lot of stuff. I pushed yet again for like as we get more and more deep specialists, especially during technical fields and science fields and stuff like that. We also need a lot of more what we call polymath, neo-generalist, navigators, weavers, who can connect the dots together, who can spend their full days, full time, just reading, listening, networking with other people who are deep specialists, because they don't certainly. If you spend your life full time deep specializing in a field or becoming an expert in one or several fields, you don't have time to read and connect for everything else. Not full time. You can do that part time, 10 or 20% maybe, but not full time. So my theory is that we need millions of people all over the world who full time spend their days just reading about and listening to about everything and meeting people all over the world, connecting the dots. Because as society becomes more complex, as we get more science every year, we get more content every year, more books, more research, more experiments, more companies, more products, more services. That's impossible for humans to keep track of that on their own, but we can do it collectively using collective intelligence, what we call the big mind and stuff like that. And foremost, we prefer humans to do it, because if we leave that to algorithms and machine learning and eventually AI, we will be clueless ourselves. So my theory is that we need a lot of humans to do this work for the humans, and not a lot of machines and algorithms to do this work for humans. Of course, we can need their help, because much of the content and the things we're talking about today is digitalized and online and searchable and categorizable and stuff like that, and you can make recommendation algorithms based on what you're interested and curious about. But that's just, we still need the humans to be humans. So let's do that. Let's find a way to start to experiment with that. Be the first mover as a city or a region or a country or a network to start training and employing these weavers and navigators and neo-generalists and polymaths to do this. And let's build a better world together. That's one part of democracy, I think. So that's just the thought I will leave you with tonight. I'm open to any type of suggestions or conversations about this. If you want to take this further or are curious about this, please talk to me. We can talk tomorrow night or the day after that about this more, because this is the things I want to talk about most, and this is the work. I've been doing it full time myself for the last 9 years. For the last 9 years, I've been studying all day, all night, going to events, hanging on YouTube, talking to people, connecting the dots, thinking, reflecting, blogging, video blogging, doing podcasts, doing events, and all stuff that just experiment. I've been visiting so many types of bubbles all over Sweden, all over the world, doing different things just to get an understanding how the world works and how society works and how we connect it all together. And by doing this full time, I've actually had the experience of what it is to do this, that this is doable, and it's something that is very needed, a lot more. Not everyone has to call themselves Captain Future to do it. We can call ourselves other stuff, but we have to call it something new so that people understand this is a new role. This is not an old role that you just add extra layers on top of it. A classical example, if you do your work that you've been doing for the last couple of years, 5-10 years, and suddenly there's a lot of more information on the internet. You have to keep up with social media, a lot more facts and a lot more bubbles. So your work becomes more and more complex, and that just piles on top of the work you're already doing. That also becomes more complex. So it's undoable to just pack it on traditional roles and expect everyone to just keep up with what's going on in the world. We see that today. There's so many things not right in the world because people don't actually know what's going on. So we will fix it in some way. So love you all. No, I'm going to bed, but I will be back tomorrow live on the day, and some interviews during the day, and then the StreamYard hangout tomorrow night. So bye everyone. I love you. Let's do this.